going on, YouTube? Culturedog Sam Hatch back with a much-delayed Laserdisc update video. And we're nearing the end of August, and I did pick up a couple things and received some cool things from friends from Facebook, etc. So we're going to jump into these a mix of things. Normally I split up my Japanese slow boat releases and everything, but I just got a bunch of stuff at the same time, so let's just dig in and go nuts. First off, Peter Biancardi, shout-outs galore, hooked me up with a couple discs that I'd been looking for to complete my James Bond collection, which we'll see later. But of course, he had to throw a bunch of other wacky stuff in with the packaging, and he uses that as a good excuse to get rid of some of his doubles that he doesn't want. So I still have a couple of these left that I haven't brought into work or anything. So one of them was a Japanese copy of Speed. You can't have too many copies of Speed. With the Obi and everything. A little beat up, but yeah, good stuff. It doesn't have Dolby Digital, but it's THX. It's got digital audio and all that stuff. So I got that. Then it got weirder. The NVC Arts Red Star, Red Army Chorus and Dance Ensemble. Never even knew this was a Laserdisc. Seems like it's a double disc. The digital audio again, and in performance at Tchaikovsky Hall in Moscow. So there you go. Got to check that out. Shout out to Ilya. So hopefully you're watching. I'm sure you will be. But yeah, lots of Russian folk songs and random dancing and fun stuff like that. So it's got some text in there as well, so I can learn about it. Then he sent me this thing, still in the cellophane, and now I can't say I don't have a magnetic video release. We were just talking about that on one of the podcasts. Not sure if it's the one that hasn't been released yet or not, but the magnetic video 20th Century Fox release of The Rose. I remember seeing this on VHS when I was a kid. Double feature of this and John Carpenter's Halloween. So, totally terrifying. I haven't seen it since, but I've seen Halloween since. Yeah, double disc and, vintage. And then another old one. It's in stereo. What year? 82? Rod Stewart. Tonight, he's yours. Love the photo on the back. Pretty goofy with the laser light, too. That adds some extra elements of fun there. And it's a laser video disc. So, that's what Peter did to me. Then I also had to pick this up because I had gotten so much flack from my fellow podcasters that they wanted to review this movie, and I had it on DVD. And they kept yelling at me for not having it. And I'm like, well, I do have it. I have it on DVD. You can't believe you don't have this movie. And I'm like, I do. So I finally gave up and ordered it on Laserdisc. I got it cheap. It was still in the shrink. And it is a Fox Video Technodisc pressing from 1994 of Airheads. And if you want to see what I think about it, check out the new podcast, episode 6. Will be forthcoming shortly. So I got that. And oh yeah, many apologies to miscrediting a couple of Bond discs. I think I gave credit to Tim White. I mean, not that he doesn't deserve credit, but it was actually Alan Labrie who had sent those to me. So a retroactive unshout out to Tim White, and then a re-shout out to Alan Labrie. But this shout out is going to Chris Altman, who was just going through farming out and weeding out doubles and things like that in his collection, and asked me if I had a couple things, and I didn't, or I had in the past, in the case of this, and gotten rid of it, and then now it's back in the collection again. And I started talking about it at work, and everyone's like, I love that movie, so I'm going to bring it into work, and we're going to watch it. Village of the Damned. Interesting, too, this jacket's got the extra red there on the side. My previous one was, trimmed accordingly, like most Universal releases, but this one was just kind of like offset at the printers or something. And it's got a little sticker for Spotlight Video in Fairfax, Virginia. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, just a regular surround sound matrixed into the stereo digital tracks. And yeah, good widescreen 2.35:1 release. And then he sent another one I didn't actually own on disc, and I need the sequel too, believe it or not, because it's a classic John McTiernan flick, Predator. So glad to have a copy of that in the collection finally. It's been far too long. And then he sent me this oddity, which I did check out. He told me that it was the most rotted disc he's ever seen, and it is a image release of Colin Eggleston's Cassandra. And sure enough, it's pressed by 3M. I didn't see any like visible oxidation on the disc, but I took it for a spin, if you can call it that, and it's so bad. It looks like a snowy channel. Like it couldn't even hold the video signal straight into, like, you could see like the rolling kind of frame marks. It couldn't even just deliver a single frame of video. So it wasn't even just that it was speckly or snowy. It was just like I'd gotten a tape that had been degaussed or something, or just tripped across a channel that was completely, static. So yeah, definitely as impressive as you said it was going to be, Chris. Pretty interesting stuff there. And yeah, I'll try and use that for some future stuff. I'm actually going to be doing a Laserdisc panel at a convention, which I can't talk about yet, unfortunately, but I'll talk about it soon, hopefully. I think I'll have clearance to talk about it, within the next couple of weeks or so. Speaking of James Bond things, I saw an opportunity to grab another copy, not to be a James Bond hoarder or anything, but this one looked in even better condition than the one I had before, and it's such a rarity. Even though, it's not usually, priced hard to get because nobody really knows it's a rarity, which is nice, but the CBS Fox reissue of From Russia with Love, with the picture where he looks so much like John Saxon in this picture. But yeah, Sean Connery firing off a flare gun against some Spectre baddies. But yeah, the original 20th Century Fox video version had him in the Spectre garden in the beginning of the film, being hunted by Red Grant. But yeah, this thing is in gorgeous shape, and I couldn't resist picking it up. So that just rolled in the mail. I got a shipment of Japanese discs in that had been bobbing around in the slow boat on the ocean for nearly 2 months, but I was super psyched when it finally showed up. This I pulled the trigger on because I had recently gotten the Big Blue, or Le Grand Bleu, the version long, Luc Besson flick from late 80s with Jean Reno, of course, and Rosanna Arquette. And the film he did after that, before doing Leon the Professional, was this underwater documentary type release called Atlantis, and I never had it, and didn't receive much of anything here in the States. You could see it at art house theaters, and that was about it if you were lucky. But yeah, so I finally got a copy on disc from Japan, which is, there was no U.S. counterpart to this, and it's the only place you can get it. There might have been a French one, of course, but for NTSC discs, got to get it from Japan. So very cool. I'm going to do a proper review on that at some point. And I'm more of a fan of the main series, Dirty Pair. Love it. But even though Dirty Pair Flash wasn't quite up to my standards for anime, but I figured I had to finish off the collection. And Kevin Kobos, the Good Squid, had a ton of Dirty Pair Flash releases. So for the first OVA series, I had the first disc already. But then I picked up Volume 2, Dark Side Angel. Pretty striking cover art, at least. And bam. Oh yeah, and I got a cool insert for Orgus coming out on DVD, which actually really want to get on. Want to get some Orgus stuff on Laserdisc. I'm hoping Orgus 2 hit LD, because that would be smooth. I'd love to get both of those. But anyways, back to Flash, Dirty Pair Flash Volume 3, Frozen Angel. And Volume 4, Sleeping Angel. And this is an interesting one. Volume 5, Stray Angel. But it came with... There was an alternate cover that Kevin hooked me up with that's just reversed, basically, which is interesting. I think the backside is the same orientation. Yeah, but the front side... Yeah, the imagery is reversed, so that was pretty cool to have. And Volume 6, Lovely Angels. And I don't have any of the second OVA series yet. I did have the first 2 titles from Dirty Pair Flash 3, so I figured I'd keep that going. So here is Volume 3 of that. And Volume 4, Excessive Boobage, Beware. And more excessive boobage. Volume 5. So that gets me through the first and third OVAs, and now I need OVA Deuce at some point. So yeah, the discs that Peter had hooked up for me were some of the last remaining Japanese releases I needed from the 007 collection, and I needed the original Warner Home Video release of Goldfinger, and so that was one of them. So now I'm just missing one more, I believe. I already took the Obi strip off. Sorry about that. It's up in a big pile. I'll have to see if I can show that to you later. And then he helped me complete my widescreen collection of Japanese releases with one, for some reason, that had been eluding me until now. But The Living Daylights comes in a gatefold, which, yeah, maybe I'll show you. Actually, I'm going to do, finally, now that I have sections completed, I'm going to do like a full run through of each different like pressing variant. So I'll do like the Evergreen series, which I have all those now, and now the widescreen versions, since I have all those. And then randomly I was just thinking about how there were rental discs. There was a fairly popular rental market in Japan, maybe not as big as the Hong Kong rental market for Laserdiscs, but pretty big. And there were certain discs that were pressed specifically for the rental market, and one of those series was the James Bond releases, though the same widescreen versions that dropped in the 90s. Interestingly, it's really just about the same quality. Everything in the packaging is just about the same. It just has a different Obi strip. It's marked rental, and more interestingly, the discs are gold. Super cool. So yeah, for a while I was like, well, I already have all of the discs, so I've got them all. I've got the whole collection, and I'm like, the little devil on my shoulder was saying, oh no, you need every pressing of every James Bond NTSC release, and you need to really complete Japan. You need to get all of the widescreen releases on rental versions as well. And I thought, wow, that's going to be a long road, but I might as well get started on it. So randomly, I just reached out to Kevin Kobos, the Good Squid, and I was like, I think I'm going to pull the trigger on getting the rental releases. And he's like, oh, let me look into it. I think I might have something coming my way. And then I think like the next day or two, on Laserdisc Forever, William Tupance, who recently passed away, actually had just received every rental version except for GoldenEye and Goldfinger, I think it was. And I was like, wow, that's kind of strange, because I was just talking about getting all the gold rental discs. And then the next day or so, I get an IM from Kevin. He's like, yeah, I got everyone except for GoldenEye and Goldfinger. And I'm like, every single one? So I got pretty much the entire set in one fell swoop. So now I'm just missing one really, really old pan and scan release, and then I'm just missing 2 of the rental widescreens, and that's it. Then I'm like, Japan is kaput. So I'll start with a non-canonical version, just to give you a heads up. This is Casino Royale, which is a pretty cool cover. I don't believe this one is actually letterboxed, unfortunately. But you can see how it's got a special obi. They normally go on the side. These ones go on top, and it says rental. And it also has the same rental logo stamped on the disc itself. I'll show you one of the canonical ones and open up the gatefold and everything like that so you can get a feel for it. So I got Dr. No. The cool thing is I can leave the obi on this one and see the side image there that's normally obscured by my obis on my normal ones there. And yeah, everything's pretty much the same, except it says, I think, like rental down there, normally where the pricing would be on the other discs. But jacket quality, printing quality, all seems to be the same. So I got From Russia with Love. The series is great. I mean, people ask me a lot of times, like, what James Bond variant discs, and there were some great THX releases as well, but for just completeness sake, like if you got these Dr. No all the way up to The World Is Not Enough, like that's pretty good. Like, I'd be happy with that. Then I got Thunderball. But yeah, here, I'll show you one of these suckers. So yeah, it's got the rental obi, which on the gatefolds only goes over the first section of the gatefold, the first flap there. But yeah, you can see it's got the rental logo there, and it even has the same LD graphics insert that the other widescreens came with, and the same gatefolds. High quality package, and it does have a cool little rental icon on the sleeve. Gorgeous stuff. And then yeah, the discs themselves are gold. These are in really nice condition. They don't look like they've been run through the ringer or rented to death. I mean, they're in just about as fine condition as my normal rental ones. And yeah, it's got a Laserdisc rental stamp in red on the disc itself. So they're essentially the same thing as the other releases, but you get the cool little bonus of having the gold disc. And I don't think either of them have chapter stops anyway, so you're really not losing anything. You're just gaining a little bit of a cool rental talking point. Yeah, these things, the jackets are pristine. You Only Live Twice. My personal favorite Bond film, On Her Majesty's Secret Service. And one of my least favorite Bond films, Diamonds Are Forever. Gorgeous cover art, though. I liked how in some of the releases, especially the 70s one, they would do the Agent 007 kind of motif in the same color as the poster art. Whereas normally they just did it white on, or gray on white. Live and Let Die. And of course, Man with the Golden Gun, double disc. Sometimes this is released as a single disc. And yeah, this is one of my favorite covers. The Spy Who Loved Me. Gorgeous, kind of crimson backdrop there. Again, ripped from the poster art. And this is another one I love too, with the gray on black. Moonraker. These just, I don't know, they showcase the poster art so much better than the American widescreen counterparts with the Bond logo on the side. And For Your Eyes Only, Bond's trying to shoot out her vagina, or maybe a thigh. And this one's it's got the rental halfway down the left side Octopussy. A lot of cool action over there that gets obscured by the obi in the normal non-rental version. View to a kill. Unfortunately, the top obi cuts off their heads. I always love this art. The impossibly long legs. They're like some sort of strange mutants. And it's funny, I waited so long to get the regular widescreen release, and then within a couple days I got the rental version of The Living Daylights. One of my favorites. Big Timothy Dalton fan. And wrapping things up with License to Kill. So yeah, this puts a huge nail in the coffin of my Japanese Laserdisc collection for James Bond releases. And yeah, a lot of great stuff there. And yeah, psyched too that Daniel Craig announced he's returning for another Bond film, which I knew was going to happen all along, but there's so much goofy speculation. Everybody's always talking about who the next Bond is, etc. But yeah, I'm psyched to see him kind of carry on from what happened at the end of Spectre. But yeah, so that's it for the newest Laserdisc batch. And yeah, I will have some more stuff coming, hopefully soon. Not on James Bond. I know people are probably burnt out on the James Bond stuff. Oh, I did get, Kevin likes to send little goodies. An original Japanese program for Diamonds Are Forever. It's pretty beat. In fact, you can see it's got like pencil lines traced over it, like somebody used this to trace, a picture, and it's got lots of wear and stuff like that, but it's pretty cool. It's fun, lots of info on the cast and crew in Japanese, of course. But that was a neat little bonus. But yeah, so I'll eventually be complete with my James Bond stuff, and then I'll stop harassing you guys when I'm going to start collecting some other things. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, checking out these releases, and we'll be back with some more stuff. I got a cool State of the Channel thing and a contest coming, and of course the new episode of the Laserdisc Tech podcast, and lots of Blu-ray reviews. I'm like a year backlogged on that stuff, but what are you gonna do? But yeah, thanks for hanging out. I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.